Hello and welcome to the Money Tree. I'm David Holt.
And I'm David Marks.
And I guess you're wondering why we're so far apart. Hey, over there.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
We have some special guests coming in just a little bit, but we're going to make you wait for that a few more minutes.
They are going to do an awesome job. I have personally been excited about these guys coming on the show.
Because you go to church with them.
I do go to church with them. I work with these guys, and I was their teacher in sixth grade.
How is their therapy going?
Well, I think they're down to 2 sessions a week.
A discount?
Probably. Group discount.
They probably should.
And I know these two guys actually participated in Mark's Money when I had them as students.
That's really cool. I want to ask them questions about that.
You need to. Just be careful what you ask, because maybe they learn good lessons from me.
They're both very well spoken. They're good fellas, and I've gotten to visit with at least one of them a good bit at the DeKalb County Technology Center, where I'm employed. Although you were making fun of me, said I drew my pension from there.
Right. Well, some of us work, some of us kill time.
No, that is not correct.
So it's not a run-out-the-clock situation then?
No, it is not a run-out-the-clock situation. So I can't believe you're being mean today.
Well, I think it's just a culmination of school has started. I'm still enrolling students. I enrolled 5 students today. So I'm still enrolling students. School has started, and I've been around some of my more sarcastic coworkers, and it rubs off on you. You know how you have those people you can joke with and you can be sarcastic with? Like if someone drops something, you'll give them that, hey, way to go kind of thing. Then you have those people that you can't do that with, like your mother, and then she says something to you. So, moms don't like that.
I interviewed 35 young people today for a simulated workplace that we're going to start over at the DeKalb County Technology Center. And so that was really entertaining, learning what their skill sets are, helping them learn through practicing on interviewing. It was a really neat experience.
Well, a lot of young people probably don't realize how important the interview process is, and that, while they may see it as something that's ha-ha fun, whatever right now, when you go to college, some may be interviewed for scholarships, things like that, but then, of course, when they get in the workplace one day, that's going to be an important component to actually getting the job.
Yeah.
So
well, and what Healthcare One is looking for is an office manager, a receptionist, a payroll clerk, and an IT person, which are stuff that we really have in the workplace. And so the instructor there wanted the career coaches to interview them like a human resources group, so that we will make the decision and tell them who's got the position.
I don't want to do a spoiler alert here in any way, but can you give us one question that you might ask a young person? Since hopefully we have a target group there of young people who watch the show, since we've given you information on
they're
college.
The same kind of thing you'd ask. You ask them, tell about yourself. What kind of skill set do they have? Like some people say they're good with computers, but can you do Excel or spreadsheets, or are you organized, or if you want to be an office manager, can you hire and fire someone?
Right. Well, you've got
and be
to
mean
the ugly
and
person
sarcastic. Dave over there can hire someone and fire them today.
I think I could be an office manager. I think I could do that.
I think you have the genetics for that.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure my dad's done that before. So I think
I would be too tender-hearted. I'd try to keep them in their employment. But I guess, you've got to be able to fire people. All have different skill sets.
Well, there is a quote that I will share with you that's from a comedy TV show where a boss told his employees, he said, bosses don't fire people, they inspire people. So maybe you have that more mindset.
Well, if they get fired, they fired themselves because they didn't do the work.
That's true. No politics into it, just you didn't do the job, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of the way we handled the interview process, because these kids are all across the county. But in each block, they had a different set of students that are coming into that program. And they'll change it at the second semester. And there are other opportunities for them. For example, we had 12 in one block apply for 4 positions.
Wow. So
which is a real world example.
Yeah. So can I give you my money quick fact for the week?
Yes.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for the
We had a big event Monday, the eclipse. Hope you got to see that. Did you know the eclipse cost companies about $680 million?
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because people missed work, people didn't show up, things like that. Things did not get done, produced, whatever.
Because they're outside looking up, oh, there it is.
Yeah, they're like, hey, there's the moon and the sun. Yeah, and that cost companies about $680 million. Of course, that's estimated. That's not exact on point. but
is coming back again in 2024.
I believe that's correct. Not through our area. It's like 99 years before it's through our area.
Well, a friend of mine actually went and drove there, took off work,
okay, wow.
and drove there and said it's worth going. So
that's awesome.
Maybe I can save my money or make it in the stock market.
That's right.
And spend it going to see the totality of the eclipse. Right. I learned a new word.
That's right, and that's very good. Speaking of totality, we have an empty chair here, and I would like to totally fill that chair.
So this
why
guy
don't we do
is
that?
A big guy.
He is.
Tall guy.
So if we can, let's go ahead
and do the
look
first
at our first slide.
Jay Lee is from Otter High School. He is a recent graduate. I called him a has-been today when I met him a little bit ago. He's currently on Presidential Host Scholarship at Northeast Alabama Community College, starting nursing classes tomorrow. He is a graduate of the DeKalb County Technology Center, and he is a National Skills USA finalist in opening and closing ceremony. So, Jay, we're so glad to have you.
Welcome.
I appreciate it.
I told you he was a big guy.
We have to try to adjust our height here in our chairs to match up with the
or just sit up straight. Maybe that's it.
That's it. So
good posture.
Good posture. So our topic this week is working student athletes, and as we know, I know Jay is a very hardworking young man. So Jay, why don't you tell us about some of the work you've done before?
So I've really had one job.
Okay.
And so that job
as long as it paid enough money.
He's very steady, consistent,
committed.
He's committed.
One job.
Well, the job that I'm in, it requires a lot of commitment. My grandpa owns a cattle farm. Him and my uncle have about, I guess, say 500 to 600 head of cattle and a good bit of land. So that takes a lot of management and just a lot of just down to earth hard work.
Sure.
And so when it comes, I guess, farming season or whatever, Papa would always pull us out there, and we were just getting all the little stuff done, everything that needed to happen to operate that farm.
So at what age did you start working with him or for him?
I was in 6th grade.
Okay. Child labor.
Yes.
And in sixth grade, I have to add this. Jay was my student as a 6th grade, and I had to look up to my student because I think he was taller than I was when I had him as a student in 6th grade.
That's right. Absolutely.
Did you come up and put your hand on his head?
He probably could have come close. So anyway, I interrupted you. So 6th grade.
Yes. So 6th grade, I've been working there, I guess, ever since. And it was always every summer. So every time school would end, work would start. And with school ending come with summer workouts, football practice, basketball practice, football camps, basketball camps. So I found myself in my, I guess, 10th and 11th grade year that I would go to workouts from 6 to 10 because I had to do football and basketball. Then after 10, I would always carry my work clothes with me to workouts, go to my grandpa's house, change clothes, and get to work and work all evening, and just because we had to get what was done.
So you lived through the experience of being a student athlete who was working.
Absolutely.
So what was your biggest motivation or your biggest drive to continue working while you were a student and an athlete in high school?
Well, I guess what I learned as I was working and being an athlete at the same time is at the end of the day, when I would get home, I would reflect on the day and I would say, man, I feel like I've accomplished something today. Absolutely. I feel like I've learned something. I feel like not necessarily these skills that I'm learning as fireman, I may use one day, but not only is this lesson I'm learning, I can apply it to any other job,
Sure.
It's going to be hectic and crazy, and it's just going to take time and commitment, and that is just something I have really learned.
So do you feel like that, working with family was difficult at times? I mean, I know that probably had to be fun at times too, but...
Well, sometimes I guess I would think I always had a guaranteed position, but if one time I broke the tractor, I broke a few things, so I didn't know if Grandpa was going to throw me off the bus, and then Grandma bring me back, I don't know, but,
let me ask a question. When you broke the tractor on that day, did he say, go home?
He said, I figured it would happen.
Okay.
So
he anticipated that.
He's been around it long enough, and that's just the way stuff happens. Everything can't run perfect. And accidents happen, so we learn from it, and we just keep working.
That's awesome.
Now, I will tell you something Jay shared with me.
Okay.
That he always had a good meal. Am I right?
Absolutely.
So you want to tell the people how you got such a good meal every day?
That one great advantage of working for your family. I come in for lunch every day. I got to sit there, eat a good dinner Grandma made, and watch Gunsmoke with Grandpa. So that was the norm.
Absolutely,
every day.
You had to see Matt Dillon.
That's right.
Go find somebody every day.
Old Marshall come in and just.
And when Gunsmoke was off, time back to work, right?
Absolutely. We would be sitting there resting, and right when Gunsmoke was off, it was 1 o'clock, and it was time to get back up and get back to work.
That's good. So awesome. Now I know you made some money. So did you blow it? Did you save it? What did you do with it?
As I was in high school, I blew it. I would save up enough money to.
Well, we want you to be real.
I want to be honest. Right. When I was in high school, I didn't. That's all I had to do was just go to school, go to workouts, and go to work. And so, I'd save my money up, buy me a gun, buy me whatever. And I said, hey, this is the life.
Well, a gun is an investment to some degree.
Some degree.
But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyways, after high school, I got a truck, getting ready for college. With this truck, Dad's like, hey, by the time winter comes, you're going to need new tires. I was like, really? He's like, yep, better start saving. And so from now, every paycheck, I would take out a certain percentage or take out like maybe half of it, and I put it up. And so I've been saving all summer just to have this amount saved for a new set of tires in the fall.
So you could even look at maybe an 80-20 plan. You think you could ever do that? Let's look at more 70-30. Would that be better? You spend 30 of it, and 70 of it goes to your tithes or your church or whatever, and then to your savings account. Because you will have college after Northeast, unless you decide to get an associate's degree. So you're probably going to triple or quadruple your cost for college. You go from $5,000 a year to $20,000 to $25,000 a year.
Absolutely. And then I want to mention right here too that when I was 12, I actually started my own cattle business. Really? At 12, I borrowed $5,000 from the USDA and started my own cow-calf operation. And then I got the letter in the mail the other day for my last payment.
Okay.
So I'm fixing to make my last payment on my $5,000 loan. And then not only will working, I guess, bring me income, but as this cattle business I'm building at the time will benefit also.
So you still have the cattle? Now, do you take it to sale and everything like that yourself?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. So entrepreneur already at 12 years old.
I bet you have an inside track on where to buy feed.
Right.
I do.
Sweet feed, you know where to get that right. And hey,
right.
So that's great. I didn't realize you were doing that, or maybe you had told me at the time and I'd forgotten about it. So who actually got you started doing that, or whose idea was to do that?
When we was little, my dad, he had cows, and so I always knew, Grandpa had cows, Dad had cows, and I always enjoyed it. So I wanted to have my own, and me and my brother both, we done this cow-calf operation. So I guess we went from having, say, 10 head of cattle with Dad having them to having 25 to 30 now.
Okay.
So we've all kind of put in for it, but at the same time, we just
your own business, though.
Right, absolutely.
Well, Dave Ramsey recommends when he talks about things that if you're a college student, you don't need to go flip burgers. You need to go be some type of entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
And you need to tutor or do, because you said you make more money in time.
Right.
So what you've done there is actually a good model, because if you needed $1,000 for a semester for books or a meal plan, you could probably go sell a cow or
absolutely,
two and do that.
Right. And that always fluctuates on the market.
Sure.
Absolutely. 2 or 3 years ago, the market for us as farmers selling our cows was awesome. It was skyrocketed, right. And it can come down. So you the thing with that, you have to be prepared for good times and hard times.
So do you look at the market with cattle like you would with stocks? Do you try to buy low and sell high? Or is it more you just try to stay consistent?
Sort of. I mean, you always want to maintain. You never want to lose, but there's not a time that I can't promise you that you won't lose at some point.
I understand that.
So it's just kind of a cause and effect, I guess.
I got you. Well, we do appreciate you coming
Absolutely.
in today.
Great young man.
Just briefly, tell us what your plans are. I mean, we're proud. I'm proud of you. I know him very
Me
well.
too.
So, tell us what your plans are as a young college student just starting out this week.
Well, I'm starting Northeast tomorrow, and I'm pursuing. I'm going to get my bachelor's in nursing, get my BSN. Then from there, I'm deciding on either nurse practitioner, physical therapist, something like that, just to continue my education.
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Very good plan.
Well, we didn't have time to talk trash about his sixth grade teacher, but
Right.
maybe with our next guest, we can probably dig a little dirt.
Hopefully,
maybe.
that's probably so. Okay, thank you for being here.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you guys.
So great to
Appreciate
see
it.
you.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and take at our second slide, at our next guest. Our next guest is Alex Brown. Now, Alex is a senior at Outer High School. He is learning skills in drafting at the DeKalb County Technical School, and he's planning on pursuing a career in engineering after high school. So, Alex, we are so glad to have you here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Now, he dressed up a little more. Look at the tie. That's,
We
that's a
worked
good
on
tie right
this.
there. Yeah.
Now, I have to say something before we get into this and we start letting Alex talk. I've got to throw this in there. That Alex and Jay both work with me every Sunday morning in the crow's nest at our church in the sound booth and make sure that our sound and our live streaming video goes out. So these two guys are essential for every Sunday for me. So I have to pat them on the back for
they're
that.
committed and they're there.
And they're there and they do a great job.
Really, I'm
Yes.
proud of you.
So every Sunday, get on Facebook, go to Chestnut Grove Baptist Church, and tune in. If you got the time.
So Dave, I'll let you start out with the questions there with Alex. I started off.
Well,
with
I
that,
hate
so.
to make him nervous here, but tell us about working and being an athlete. What sports do you play, and what kind of work do you do?
Well, I play football and baseball, and I don't want to kind of mirror everything what Jay said, but me and Jay are first cousins, and so I'm kind of in
You
the.
kind of work in the same farm?
I'm kind of working the same thing with them, and it's every summer that I work with them. But during the later months of high school, the past 2 years, I've also taken up the little way of making money by calling baseball games, being an umpire.
Oh my goodness!
So adding
Do you
more to
like-
that. That's
Just a
awesome.
little bit
And
more.
freelance on the side.
You can make money at that, but how do you not listen to the people who are heckling the umpire?
Is it kind of like the cows? You just
Trust
block them
me,
out.
you get used to it after a while.
That's why you're at church every Sunday morning,
That's right.
To
That's
pray
right.
for forgiveness
That's right.
for the evil thoughts you might have had. from
Yes,
the-
sir, absolutely.
So you worked with Jay, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us a funny story that has happened with you and Jay working together?
That's really appropriate for television.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got tons that I can pull out right now and give to you, but let's just see. Well, one that I always remember, and it was back. See, Jay said we've been working since sixth grade. And
Sure.
This is true, and this is back when I was a youngster, probably seventh, eighth grade. I can't remember, but we were sitting there tying wire to the fence, and I was sitting on a bucket. And I got a little tired, and I just wanted to lean back and rest a little bit. And turns out my bucket was kind of elevated on a little hill. Fell right on my back into a big pile.
A big pile?
A big pile.
In the cow pasture. So.
In the cow pasture. So
paddy,
you
right?
can guess what I fell into. That's just...
Well, you can't. Truth is always stranger than fiction, and always more funny. Is more funny a word?
Yeah. It's funnier if not.
I'm glad he's tickled over there because he's had a really bad day, Mr.
Oh,
Sarcasm.
yes.
As you came in.
So
So
was
what's
Jay
it-
with you when that happened?
He was with me, and he was there laughing at me. Instead of helping his poor old cousin up, he's sitting there laughing at me for falling in a cow patch. In a cow patch.
Well, I bet you didn't do that a second time.
I think I learned after that I should kind of stand up straight.
There you go.
Fence post.
Well, tell us about Grandma's cooking.
Grandma's cooking. That's worth the while right there. Just getting a good free lunch.
It's on those hot days in July when you've had no water and the cows stink.
Oh,
and
it
you
really-
do too because you fell in something. It's worth that break. to go.
It hits the spot to get
That's
back
right.
inside and have a good meal prepared for you. It
That's
really
awesome.
does. And me and Jay's been fortunate to have that given to
Sure.
us.
Well, do you feel like you've picked up a skill set since you've got to work on the farm?
I've learned how to follow directions pretty well.
I'm sure.
Did Grandpa ever send you home because you broke something like Jay did?
I think I broke a couple more things than Jay has, but I'm the younger one, so I kind of get a get out of jail free card for that one.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you. Plead ignorance, or I didn't know. I didn't know.
Jay was using it before I got it. You know, that could always be something.
I think Jay broke that.
That's right.
I think that's what I would say.
Well, I guess that's something that one of the reasons why we wanted you and Jay to come on here is because I know the work ethic these guys have, and that's something that this future generation, not former too, needs to have established. And I tell the students at school all the time, if you have work ethic and you're a hard worker, you can do anything you want to do. Mm-hmm. And you can already see where they've started to establish their future. Now tell us about your money.
My money?
Yeah. What do you?
Well,
do you save it?
Do you
or
save
do
it?
blow
Or do you
it?
spend it all?
Well, here's the thing. As Jay said that he kind of blew his money in high school, I'm on the direct opposite end. I hoard all my money. I hate spending it, and
Awesome.
You must really get
we
along.
could get along very well.
I mean, it could be considered an issue to some people, but I don't know. It's just
Don't tell Mr. Holt too much. He may call you cheap. I'm just saying. That's from experience.
I've been called cheap by plenty of people.
Frugal.
I
Frugal's what I
get
say.
used to it, but I mean, that's just the way I live. I mean, you see, when I got in high school and I started being able to drive, I was fortunate enough to be given a hand-me-down, a 2001 model Ford Ranger. Mm-hmm. It's barely running as of right now, but it's a vehicle.
But it gets you there,
It
right?
gets me where I need to go,
Absolutely.
and that's the thing. I'm 18, living with my parents. They do a sure lot for me,
Sure.
and I feel like it's kind of my responsibility to help them out as I want to say as much, but it's really as little as I can. I mean, I make all this money in the summer and don't spend it a lot, but I mean, when it comes time to fill up gas in the truck or those little times where I want to go out with friends, it puts a lot more, responsibility in a sense to me that it's my money that I'm spending when I do that kind of stuff.
A, it makes you appreciate it more when
Exactly.
it's your money,
Yeah.
and B, that's something you don't just demand it of your parents. Hey, I want a car, gas, and a debit card. You're spending your own hard-earned money.
And it brings me down to earth because in reality, you can't go out and eat with your buddies every night, and you can't have the nice new vehicle that you want. You just gotta deal with what you can.
So tell us about your future plans, because if you really want to help your mom and dad with a burden, college cost would be a great way to do that.
I'm working hard for that in high school right now. I'm working hard to graduate, looking to get as many scholarships as I can, and I'm going to work out what I can after that, and then go to college. I'm wanting to pursue a career in engineering.
And I think that's awesome. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. We'll talk off camera about ACT, but ACT scores are so powerful in driving the
Yes, sir.
acceptance letter. But all the work you do at your church, volunteerism is great. Young people need to be working on volunteerism. All their experiences, playing baseball, playing football. But don't forget that ACT score or PSAT. They're very important.
Well, in a full-time job for you come probably November-ish, we'll be applying for scholarships. Apply for, if you can, apply for 500, because you may get turned down on 498, but those two may pay for everything you need. So that's a job in itself. And I know you're excited. You have your first Jamboree game tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. I'm
ready for
pretty
that.
on edge for it.
Ready for that?
Now,
Excited
who do you
about
play?
that.
Sir,
Who do you play?
Spring Garden and Galesville.
Okay.
And what position do you play?
I play fullback and linebacker.
Okay, so he's a headhunter.
I
Well,
guess you could say so.
we're going to have to make time to go and watch.
I think so.
Maybe we can get Mountain Valley to let us come take some pictures.
That would be awesome, or shoot some video, something like that.
That would be
So,
great, yeah.
That would be great to do. Absolutely.
So tell us about your experience at the DeKalb County Technology Center. Do you think how did you decide to do that, and how is that working out for you?
Well, as I said before, I want to go into the field of engineering, and the tech school, it offers drafting,
Right.
and I figured that wouldn't necessarily be my ticket to, learning engineering, but I mean it can help me.
It's
I
a
think later down.
prerequisite. It'd be a good way to look at it.
It-
It's a prereq to get you into that field.
I figured that it it would help me sometime down the road.
Absolutely.
Maybe I could land a job just drafting for somebody while I'm in college, just make a little money here and there.
There you go. Well, and not only that, you're probably at some point in time you may use AutoCAD or whatever programs. I know that's kind of maybe dated. That's what I had some classes in, but y'all would use that program, the drafting program, in engineering because that's part of engineering.
Yeah.
Do you know which type yet? Civil, mechanical, aerospace?
No, sir, but AutoCAD and Inventor, they are really
It's essential program.
Yes, sir.
It is. Awesome. That is awesome. Well, Alex, we really do appreciate you taking time to be here with us, you and Jay both. And like I said, these are two outstanding stand-up young men, or we wouldn't have had them on here.
Exactly right. They're the kind that when they come get off the bus in the morning, coming in the door, we try to greet them most days. Mm-hmm. And I've offered to bring him a razor to take care of some of this right there, but I think it would go dull on the other Dave over there.
That's true. We're 2 weeks in, I think, now. So
Are we?
I'm 2 weeks into it. Yeah.
Okay.
No Shave November came a little early this year.
Well, we're certainly glad that Alex came to spend some time with us, and Jay as well. Wish you a lot of luck. If we can ever help you, let us know.
Absolutely.
I just got to know, how bad of a teacher was he in 6th grade? Was he like a drill sergeant, or did he make it fun?
Tell the truth.
Well, to be honest, I think Mr. Marks, he put a lot of respect into the kids that he taught, and it's something that I want to tell anybody that's watching this, that that's a key component if you're gonna make it in this world, is having a lot of respect for the people that's over you, and coming ready to work, because that's what he taught me.
That's awesome. Good. And you had to enjoy Grandpa and Grandma and that experience working in a cow pasture.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure he enjoyed it, but we hope he did.
Well, we do appreciate these young guys coming, and if we can now, Dave, let's take a little time to.
I think it's time for stock market quick picks.
So if we can, let's pull up our third slide. Looking at our third slide, we have our weekly stock picks, and the market has been up and down. We've had some jump around, but one that we've had on here for a few weeks is the very first one on our stock pick list.
We've heard it several times.
Orchard
right.
Island Capital, guys. This thing looked like it was in the slums about 2 weeks ago. It went from about $10 a share down to like $9.20, and people, I was ready. I had lost money on it, but if you remember, I was saying
just hang on
to it. I still feel like it's a safe buy at $9.50. It actually went up to 10. I believe it was 10.08 yesterday. It fell back down a little bit today, but guys, it's still a 15% monthly dividend. I still feel like it's a very safe buy between $9.50 to even $9.75. If you can get it at that price, get it at that price, and just ride that dividend out. Our next one, now this one's one that I've also used before, is Rate Financial Trust, RAS is a symbol. I'm in at this one around $2 a share. I have several shares of this. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a safe buy at $1 to $1.15. It actually closed at like 80 cents today.
Wow.
So now might be the time you want to buy into it. Now, let me throw this out there. This is the disclaimer. This is a stock that may be make or break, because this is the same type trust as Orchard Island Capital. They pay a dividend quarterly, and it's 29% right now because their price is falling. The thing about that is you've got to watch this stock, because it's either going to take a big spike jump up or it's going to have a big sell-off. So just be cautious if you buy that one.
Is that the Kenny Rogers special?
That's a Kenny Rogers double special with extra cheese and bacon.
Pay attention.
Yes, watch it and see. The next one is Route 9B. This is a fairly new company. Its IPO is fairly new. I feel like it's a buy at $125 to $150. Mm-hmm. This is one that you would want to hold long term. It started out on the market a lot higher than that. It got up to about $11 a share, and then it fell off. That's because that's what typically happens with a stock. When an IPO comes out, people are kind of excited about it. This is a technology company. They actually work in cybersecurity, which we know is coming more and more in the future.
Big area.
Big industry, right. Yeah. So you're getting on the ground level of this. So look for that stock, maybe $1.25. If it gets to $1, it really would be a good buy, because you may see that stock hit in time $5 to even up to $10.
Okay.
Five Oaks Investment, this is another dividend stock, has a PE ratio of 6. I know that kind of seems low. Has a 14% monthly dividend. It's a buy at $4.15 and $4.25.
Okay.
Now, are you ready?
The fun part, the penny picks.
This is the penny picks. Jason Industry Warrants, JASNW. I feel like this is a good buy at 5 cents to maybe 5 cents and 5 thousandths of a cent. That seems like
Is
very
that
little.
basically 5.5 cents?
That's 5.5 cents. That's exactly what it is. So this could see a quick gain at some point in time. If you see that quick gain at 10 cents, I would sell. If it goes to 12, I would sell. So anything over 10 cents on that, I would definitely look at selling that stock. I wouldn't hang on to it thinking it's going to